Hey, Franchise Secrets. Today, you've got me, and I'm going to be talking about the time when I was involved in two different franchises. One that was a money-making franchise and one that was a money-losing franchise. I'm going to refer to these as losers and winners. And I'm going to kind of break down the difference between the two brands that I was involved with. I'm not going to name the brand because it really doesn't matter. What matters is what I'm about to break down for you.
Representing Franchise Secrets, Erik Van Horn.
So one, I was making about $10,000 to $20,000 a month on average. The other one, I was losing that much, which meant I had the opportunity to write checks all the time, and that's not a fun feeling. So hopefully, this session, this podcast is going to help some of you from my mistakes. The best way to learn is from other people's mistakes. I've done a lot of that, and I've made a lot of my own mistakes. And I love it when I talk to other people who have lost significant amounts of money in franchising, because they usually learn from those mistakes, just like I have. I talked to franchisors who were franchisees, and they lost a lot of money, and they've made a lot of money. And the way that they do things in the future as a franchisee, and some of them turned into franchisors, they have a different outlook. And the same with consultants or brokers, those that know that not every franchise brand is created equal, or they know that people can actually lose money, not because of the franchisee, but because of the franchisor. I think that makes them a better consultant or broker or franchise development person. So here we go. So the losing brand that I was a part of, it was an unproven franchise model when I got involved with it, meaning it had wide open territory. I had the pick of the area of the country I wanted to go into, territories I wanted to buy, how many I wanted to buy, but it was unproven, meaning that they did not have any franchisees that I could pick up the phone and talk to. They had an item 19 based off of corporate stores, but that really didn't give me the kind of comfort that I ended up getting in the winning brand. So let's go to the winner. This was a proven franchise model, but all the great markets had really been sold out. So where I am is not an A market. It's probably a B market, but it's a proven franchise model, which for me, going into this as an absentee franchisee, meaning I'm just an investor and I own a large part of the company, but I'm a financial investor, and I'll talk to our partners once a week on a call. But a proven model, meaning you could pick up the phone and call a lot of franchisees, and you will hear them say they are making money, and they'll tell you the kind of money that you're making. Now, this proven franchise model, which was the winner for me, at one point was an unproven franchise model, and people picked that one, and they got the pick of the territory, and they're doing very, very well. So that's not like a make it or break it, but you just need to know what you're getting into, if it's proven or unproven. You just need to go in with your eyes wide open. And I did on both of these. So that's on me. Okay, the loser, out-of-state ownership with a local high-level manager. So I owned it out of state, and I had a manager that was making a lot of money, and they had a good track record of being, a good manager. They never really owned a business, but they had been a manager of similar type businesses. And that's just what it was, out-of-state ownership, local manager. Versus the winner, again, out-of-state ownership. So that thing is consistent of owning out-of-state. But I had a partner, I actually have two partners with proven track records of ownership in this franchise model. So that's the big difference. One, I had a manager with a track record of managing, and the other one, I had partners that were proven. And we were aligned. My role in the business is not to be active. I'm not getting involved in their decisions of running the day-to-day. But I did want them to be proven owners, meaning they knew the system, they knew the franchisor, they had learned some of the things that they did wrong, and they were making money in their local locations. So that's the big difference. Manager versus a franchisee who has ownership by themselves and they're doing well. We aligned because I had capital and I have other experience of scaling that they didn't have, and they wanted that. And so it was a great partnership. So the manager of the losing location had a great resume, but they didn't have the track record of being an owner. Now, the winner, the manager in our local franchise location, is being held accountable by the franchisee who owns that with me. That's the big difference. They were held accountable by somebody that knew the brand. They had a track record of success, so it wasn't just theory. So this manager is being held to accountability, and this is important, to market and to sell. It's really easy for managers to not market and not have to sell. But in this particular industry, marketing and selling is very important. Getting out of the location is very important to bring customers into the location. And that's a lot of businesses. Now, most don't want to do that, but my other franchisees in this winning location, they have the track record, they know, and so they have respect from the manager, and they made the right hire. They knew who to hire, and they knew to hire a manager that was ready to be held accountable and that was ready to sell and to market the business. And I see a lot of different managers that will give pushback to their owners of why they need to be in the location and doing all these other things versus selling and marketing. So that's a big difference between the loser. Our manager was just inside, didn't really believe in going out and marketing, didn't believe in selling, didn't believe in outbound stuff, and they just wanted everything inbound. And they didn't want to pressure people to when they were coming in to buy anything. And that's fine, because you're not pressuring people to buy something, but you are giving customers the value proposition, and you're actually doing the customers a service by helping them become members or selling them whatever it is that you sell. But that's a different mindset between the managers that we had at the losing location and the winning location. Attention, franchisors and franchisees. There are two really important resources that I want to share with you that will help you avoid costly mistakes and increase your enterprise value. The first is our free Facebook group. It's a community that has over 4,000 franchisees and franchisors in it. When somebody asks a question, they get honest and authentic answers from multiple perspectives. You can join the group for free over at franchisesecrets.com/Facebook. The second resource I want to share with you is if you're a franchisee and you want to be around a community of successful Zs and other brands and in other industries, this is why I created the Franchisee Mastermind. If you want access to the best single and multi-unit owners to know what they're doing, or if you want to be around other multi-brand owners, then you'll want to check out my Franchisee Mastermind. The reason why people join is they want access to my Rolodex, my connections, to each other. They want a shortcut success, both short-term and long-term. Links will be in the show notes or at scalablefranchise.com. Also, the losing location, we held on to managers way too long. We held on to employees way too long. And they ended up kind of spoiling the vibe, the culture, the other really good employees. And it was really hard to tell who was telling us the truth, who wasn't. And so it was just kind of a mess at the one where they weren't held accountable versus the winning one, where if the manager or key employees or any employees are not doing what they're supposed to do, they get fired quickly. They're gone. They either leave or they get fired, because culture and having the right people in place is very important. And so us having franchisees that have experience in that and they can spot the wrong person in the wrong seat, they get fired. And so it's good to have that person that can identify that. All right. So I was actively engaged in putting out little fires and big fires in the losing location. So the losing location I was always on the phone. You get a phone call from the manager, from an employee. Me and my business partner were like, oh no, what's going on now? Or we'd find things out from customers, and we were always engaged in these little and big fires. And that was just scratching the surface. So if you're putting out these little fires and big fires, there's usually something that's bigger that is going on. And that was absolutely the case in the losing franchise. And also I had better things to do. Like, this was not worth my time. If I had to, put down my hourly rate and look at, is it worth putting out these fires based on my hourly rate? No, it wasn't. Back when I first started 20 years ago, absolutely. That's what I should have been doing. But I didn't enjoy doing it anymore. It wasn't worth my time. I didn't enjoy doing it. So I probably didn't do a very good job at it. So again, that's on me. Now, on the winning location, my other franchisees who are the active operating partners, I don't hear about these fires. I hear about solutions. So we're on a call once a week, and all I hear about is solutions. Hey, Eric, we had this thing that came up. This is what we did, and, problem solved. If there's something that's a little bit bigger, I'll hear about it on that weekly call, and we'll make a decision. But I'm not involved in the fires at all. I'm really told about solutions to the thing that was causing a problem in the last week. So that's a big deal. Here's another really big thing. In the losing one, I was writing $10,000 to $20,000 a month checks. Like that, it was losing $10,000 to $20,000 a month. It's real money that had to go in, and it went on for a long time. That's not a good feeling. Versus the winning one, we got a message from one of the two franchisees that are the operating partners, and they said, hey, this location's doing very well. We're number 2 in the country. We are actually on track to beat our projections, and our projections at that time were, to break even within 3 months. And so we had enough capital in money in the account to be able to cover the first 3 months. So we could get to break even, cash flow break even. But what they said is, hey, it looks like we're going to be making cash flow positive $10,000 to $20,000 a month when we open. And that's based off of, again, their track record. They've seen this. They know what it's like to have locations that do that. And it's a real simple formula. How many customers do you have? How many things have you sold? And it's reoccurring revenue. So it's very predictable. And so we are on track to make that kind of money when that thing opens up. So I wrote one check. That was it. And I don't have to write any more checks. So I'll really love that. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to go with that proven model. And then because one of our other locations is kind of on average, we'll probably beat, our projections of 3 months of capital needed to get to break even. We'll beat that, but we're not going to open up at that $10,000 to $20,000 a month of positive cash flow. On the losing location, with having negative cash flow, that just puts you in a bad headspace. It sucks losing money every month, and it's really hard to go from a location that's losing money to start making money. It's really hard. Like, that's why we stress with our brands the importance of having a very strong grand opening, having a strong pre-opening plan. Because if you open up and it's a really strong opening, you don't have to worry about these capital calls and trying to do marketing after the fact. So any franchisee out there, as you are opening up locations, give it your all. Have great grand opening plans, not just a big grand opening, but all the pre-sales, everything that it takes to get open, whatever that looks like. I would be talking to all of the franchisees that have opened up in the past 6 months and find out who it is that had the strongest grand openings, and go talk to them, find out what they did, and learn from them, because having a strong opening is absolutely critical. And that's something that we talk about often in this partnership group. So big difference between the two. Losing one, it was me and another one, 50-50 business partners. We were both passive franchisees, and we thought we were going to be able to have a great manager that could run it for us, and we could still own 50%. Well, we ended up being the two that had to put in capital every single month. Versus this other model that we had, we're still going to open up about 12 locations of these of this particular brand, but we're doing it in a way where I am fully passive. Meaning, this is what passive means to me. I'm on a conference call once a week for 30 minutes. And if I'm busy, I don't have to be on. I choose to be on there. If there's something that's really important, I need to get on a phone call. But passive to me means I put in my money once and I'm on a call 30 minutes a week with the other two franchisees, and they are operating partners. And we have a very good operating agreement that spells out our duties. I'm paying them to be operating partners. We are splitting the equity in the business, splitting capital, but both capital that goes into the business and profits that come out of the business is all split, but I'm paying them, or the business is paying them for their activity that they're doing in the business. And so now I don't feel bad about not being active in the business, because that was agreed upon early on in the conversations. And it's good for them because they're growing and scaling and learning from me, and we're building something pretty special. So that's kind of the tale of the losing, where I lost a bunch of money. I was losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, and now this other brand where I'm doing very well. Again, back to that first point, you got a proven model and an unproven model. At one point, this proven model, the winner was an unproven model. So I just wanted to give you some things to think about. And again, I didn't lose money because it was unproven. I didn't lose money or make money because I was out of state. It wasn't because I had the right or wrong manager. Well, there's some of that, but that manager had accountability based off of the operating partner. And so I think some of the big takeaways as you go back and you kind of think about this, somebody needs to be active in that business. I don't know of a franchise yet that is passive. If this was me in this winning model, this winning franchise right now, and it was me and I didn't have these two operating partners, that I would not have that success. I would be losing. I would be probably writing $10,000 to $20,000 a month checks to be able to get that thing to the point where I want it to be making money years down the road. So the key difference is know what you're getting into, know what kind of hours and what kind of work needs to go in to making your location a winner versus a loser. Thanks for listening to the Franchise Secrets podcast. Links to everything can be found over at franchisesecrets.com. And if you want my help with anything from starting your own franchise to growing your current franchise business, please visit scalablefranchise.com.